The coolest part about them is that comparators can actually detect if there's a book placed in a specific slot, meaning we can finally make one of those awesome secret bookshelf entrances. If anyone knows about it, they'd have to know exactly which book in exactly which bookshelf unlocks the door, letting you hide some seriously secure secrets. We've also got a new setting that allows you to see all the secret hidden creative items. This includes command blocks, all the different types of light level blocks, which are gonna be super useful for builders, and even the secret debug stick item that lets you change the form of any block you want by just clicking on it. Did you know if you splash a potion of poisoning onto a creeper, then let them explode, you'll end up seeing a lingering poison effect? This can be used for blowing up your friend's base and then finishing their dogs off. Thank me later, you monster. If you're near an ocean with your friend, have them crouch down in front of the water and pay attention to their name tag. If you look closely, you can see the water is transparent, allowing you to see anything you want. So if your friend's got a secret base, we will find it and we will kill your dogs again. Talking about the ocean, if you take an iron golem and try to sink them, you'll realize they literally can't drown. This means they can stay at the bottom of the ocean for years without taking a single hit of damage. Man, that's just sad. This can't be said for snow golems though. They don't even get to enjoy a swim. Man, that just feels wrong. Are you one of those weirdos that prefers using donkeys over horses for the extra storage space? First of all, why are you using horses in the first place? It's 2023, man, get elytra! But secondly, llamas are a way better option. They can have up to 15 inventory slots and form groups of 10 that follow each other around. Using shulker boxes, you can transport up to 4,000 stacks of blocks with you. That's this many blocks, more than you'd ever need. And if you need another reason to make the switch to llamas, check this out. While horses and donkeys just sink like rocks when you try to ride them in water, llamas can swim. You still can't control them or anything, but if you need a fancy pool float or something, llamas work perfectly. Fireworks can be used for a bunch of things these days, but I bet you never thought of making a cannon with them. That's right, fireworks launched from dispensers actually do damage to mobs, meaning firework crossbows are out, and this is the new best way to take out mobs. Piglins now can drop their skulls just like zombies and skeletons, and they're way cooler than any other mob head too. The method to get to them is still blowing them up with a charged creeper, except a little harder as you can't actually bring piglins to the overworld without them turning into zombies. I'd say it's worth it though, as you can put one on your head and its ears will actually flap while you walk around. Mob heads also got another really cool use I don't think anyone was expecting. If you place one on top of a note block, the block will play a random sound that mob makes. And yes, this works with redstone, so you've got a new way to drive your friends insane! Ever thought it's annoying that you can only ride a few of the mobs in Minecraft? Well, fear not! The /ride command that's just been added lets you spawn in and ride on literally any mob you want. Ew, except for that. Don't do that. If you stack minecarts on a singular rail, you can create a nuclear bomb! The minecarts will glitch out and move on their own. Try getting rid of the rails? Well, the minecarts don't care! In fact, it'll keep on going and blow up an entire village if it wants. What a rebel. While night vision is usually very useful, if you splash yourself with a night vision potion in the end, everything will instantly turn pink. Thanks, guys. That helped a lot. Well done. The Minecraft soundtrack changes depending on what time of day it is, meaning if you want a certain soundtrack to play, just use the command and change it back to the time of day you remember it playing at. Oh man, this track is so beautiful. Oh! Who said it today? Who? Huh? I know karate! Because soul sand isn't a full block, you can't really place falling blocks on top of it. Or at least without having your blocks turn into fragile block entities. If you've ever created a staircase, you'd realize how annoying it is to have to go up and down and back up again. Who invented stairs? I will fight you! But there's a way out of the never-ending pain. Cause if you place a torch on the block you're using, you can place a block on the side. And if you keep recycling your torches, you'll soon enough have a really long staircase. Just don't look at it from the side. If you have a pet axolotl and don't have a name tag to make him your pet, you can scoop him up with a bucket and literally put him into an anvil. But don't worry, we aren't gonna murder him. If you're in a village raid but don't manage to kill all the raiders, that's a cool way to easily find them. If you ring the village bell and wait a few seconds, all remaining raiders within a 40-block radius will all light up with a glowing effect. This one is already semi-known, but hey, your boy's gotta eat. Did you know not all skeletons hold the bow in the same hand? In fact, 11% of the skeletons are left-handed, while 89% are right-handed. Mojang paid close attention to detail here, as this is the exact proportional percent in real life. If you drop a sword near a fox, they can actually pick it up. This means if a fox is holding a sword while attacking, it'll deal the same damage as the sword, making it incredibly overpowered. Camels are by far the coolest passive mob we've ever got. Not only can you ride them with a saddle, but they're so tall that zombies and spiders can't touch you while you're on one. You can also dash while riding them. And best of all, 2 people can ride them at once. The only drawback to camels is that sometimes they'll get bored, lie down on the floor, and refuse to move. Just like me. Honey blocks are so sticky that mobs like villagers can't actually jump off them, meaning you can use them to hold them in place. And if you've spent ages pushing villagers around or using boats to move them, I'm about to blow your mind. You can't bait villagers around with seeds or carrots, but you can get them to follow you simply by having a chat with them. It seems they're so excited to trade with you that they just won't leave you alone, letting you bring them pretty much wherever you want. And if anything was to, happen to your villagers, don't use potions of weakness to heal them. Instead, you should use tipped arrows with a crossbow. If you have a high enough piercing level, you can shoot through multiple villagers, and then pick the arrow up after allowing you to cure hundreds of villagers with just 1 arrow. Swift Sneak is already an amazing enchantment, but did you know that if you run and jump into your sneak instead of just sneaking normally, you'll sneak around 33% faster? I really like saying sneak, could you tell? Speaking of sneaking, I just really wanted to say that, you can create secret ladders out of powder snow that only you can use. It's literally as simple as placing a column of powder snow somewhere and chucking on some leather boots, and only you will be able to climb it. What item do you think is used in the most crafting recipes in the game? Wood? Maybe sticks? How about diamonds? Turns out it's actually iron ingots. They're used in 34 different recipes, which is more than anything else. Well, kind of. With the introduction of chiseled bookshelves in 1.20, wooden planks are now also used for 34 recipes in Java Edition. Riveting. What do you think the best item for fighting mobs is? Axes maybe? Some people prefer swords or bows, but you're all wrong! Boats are actually extremely powerful, as you can just chuck one down and completely immobilize any mob you want. They even stop Enderman from teleporting. You can name a chest and an anvil, and the name will actually show up in the GUI. It even keeps its name when you break it, unlike any other block in the game. No matter how high they fall from, cats will never take full damage. You can send them all the way from build limit to bedrock, and they'll walk away like nothing happened. Conversely, dogs do take damage. And anvil damage! It's just so beautiful. Zombified piglins are terrifying to fight in the nether, but if you manage to get a weapon powerful enough to kill them in one hit, they won't get mad, and you can take them out one by one. Flower forests are one of the prettiest biomes in the game, and one of the easiest places to farm all the different dyes too. But strangely, the flowers don't actually generate in random places. Each area in this biome can only spawn a specific flower, which means you can map it out using bone meal to create a really cool effect. Bees in Minecraft actually work really similar to how they do in real life. When they sting you, they don't just lose their stinger and end up dying shortly after. They actually leave it inside you. It's easiest to see when you turn invisible, and when are they adding tweezers to the game? You can get floating Minecraft tracks by placing them on trapdoors and flipping them down. Aside from this just looking really weird, you can make some pretty crazy traps with this, as all the rails disappear at once when anything updates them. While testing this, I realized you can actually walk underneath trapdoors even though you're way taller than this gap. And your head even sticks into the trapdoor.
Yo, Mallow, is that a fresh cut?
No, please! Shulkers are one of the most mysterious mobs in Minecraft. I can't even figure out what they're supposed to be. But it turns out if you throw an invisibility potion at one, all is revealed. The Shulker's shell disappears, leaving the Shulker itself floating in midair. I'm still no closer to understanding what on earth this thing is, but I guess he's like cute. It's common knowledge now that villagers are the best way to farm items, but it takes so long to cure them. But it turns out if you place iron bars near the zombie villager, you can actually speed it up a bunch. The wiki says this works with beds too, but when I tested this, it seemed like it was fake. But let me know in the comments if it works for you. Speaking of beds, did you know that there used to be a sky dimension planned for Minecraft? It was supposed to be a magical realm in the sky that you could access through dreams. Each time you went to sleep, there would be a chance you'd wake up here instead. Unfortunately, this idea was eventually replaced by the end, but I'd love to see them bring back this idea. While you were busy having sniper duels or hiding away praying they wouldn't see you, skeletons have been hiding a dark secret. Okay, it's not that dark, but around 11% of them are actually left-handed and hold their bows differently to the rest. Apparently, this is to mirror the amount of real people who are left-handed. Also, even though wither skeletons can't spawn naturally with a bow, they still have a line of code that lets them shoot fire arrows when they're given one with commands. Weird, right? One of the best features Mojang is adding in 1.20 is the new armor trims. You can find pattern templates in chests all over our world, and then apply them with different colors on our armor. They're found in places like bastions and woodland mansions, but they're also dropped by the Elder Guardian. They're pretty rare, but luckily you can use diamonds to duplicate, so you've got enough for all of your armor. Mojang also decided that netherite was somehow too easy to obtain, and added a netherite upgrade template, which you need to use every time you upgrade a tool or piece of armor. And yes, you need a new one every time, meaning that's an extra 7 diamonds every time you upgrade something. Please subscribe so I can afford this. Creepers are one of the oldest mobs in the game, and they haven't got any less terrifying. In fact, in one of the 1.20 snapshots, they somehow got even scarier. Somehow their code got messed up and they wouldn't make a noise or even flash before they blew up, meaning they could just sneak up and explode before you even knew they were there. Oh, also, there was another really strange and kind of cruel bug where sitting cats would just sink down in water instead of standing up and swimming to safety like they do now. I'd be totally okay with this if it was dogs, but not my sweet kitties. You know how the menu screen kind of rotates around like this? Apparently, this can make some people dizzy, so Mojang added this setting that lets you change the speed or even turn it off completely. I can't be the only person who thinks this looks really cursed. Hey, by the way, does anyone else think the new world creation screen looks awful? I've been playing Minecraft for 10 years now and they did not need to change this. Honey blocks have a crazy feature barely anybody knows about. They're actually just a little bit smaller than a normal block, meaning you can shoot arrows between them. Thank me later, fortress builders. Dolphins are one of the smartest animals in the world, and it's no different in Minecraft. If you give a dolphin enough fish, it'll actually begin to swim to the nearest underwater chest as thank you for feeding it. Endermen are already one of the most creepy and powerful mobs in the game. I absolutely didn't need another buff to make them even stronger, but they got exactly that. Usually an Enderman will just teleport out of the way of an arrow or other projectile. But if they've got nowhere to teleport to, the arrow will just bounce off like it's nothing. Cheaters. Luckily, there is a way to make Enderman completely powerless. Yeah, sort of. Sure, you can just place water at your feet, but that's old news. If you accidentally trigger an Enderman by looking into its eyes, don't look away. For some reason, Enderman won't move at all as long as you hold eye contact. And what do you do from here? Good question. Moving on. To cure a zombie villager, you need a splash potion of weakness and a golden apple. And a bed? Apparently being near to a bed helps to speed up the process. Not sure why that works. Well, I can think of a few reasons. The axolotl is probably the cutest animal in Minecraft. But did you know there's an axolotl so rare, just 1 in 1,200 axolotls spawn this way? The blue axolotl is the rarest mob in Minecraft. Would you look at that little guy? Huh, you thought I was gonna kill it for comedic effect? I'm totally above that. I lied! Sand or gravel count as entities when falling down, meaning dropping it into a portal will build a nice little sandcastle. Not only that, but you can do the same with lit TNT and even dripstone. If you hit a zombie piglin next to a nether portal in the overworld, an extra zombie piglin can spawn from the nether, even if one isn't nearby. So how does that work, Mojang? Care to explain yourself on that one? Your trident will always come back, as you have the loyalty enchantment. However, if your entire inventory is full while throwing it, it won't come back to you and will leave you forever. Or it will do whatever this is, which probably counts as some kind of assault. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. If you feed a cookie to your parrot in Minecraft, they will die! No joke. I feel bad for the kid that figured that out. While this wasn't always in the game, Mojang later realized cookies are actually toxic to parrots, so changed the game to be more realistic. So if your friend gets a new parrot, you know what to bring! Woohoo! When you leave and rejoin a world, you get a couple seconds of invincibility. So if you find yourself in a bit of a spicy situation, you can leave and rejoin over and over and swim to safety like you're made out of obsidian. The shield is one of the most overpowered items in the whole game. It can block fireballs for God's sakes. But did you know that if you go through a portal while holding right click, you'll be permanently blocking in the next dimension, letting you sprint and attack while literally invincible. You can send secret messages with skulk blocks. Skulk usually spreads to stone blocks when it absorbs experience, but it won't take over blocks made with slabs. So simply write some letters out with slabs and find a way to cover it. Sometimes it can be difficult to tell just how low durability your tools are while mining, but if you hit F3 and H at the same time, you'll get the exact number of blocks it can mine left, you nerd. A campfire smoke is kinda pathetic. It only lasts for about 10 blocks before fading away. However, if you place a hay bale beneath it, it'll use that extra fuel to create a 25-block high smoke stream. It's obviously super cute that foxes can pick up and steal your items, but did you know they can actually use them too? If you try killing a fox while it's holding a totem, it won't die and just runs away from you like the monster you are. Luckily, this feature doesn't work on dogs. Foxes can also eat chorus fruit if given the opportunity, and presumably get really confused after. You can go upstairs much faster if you've got auto jump enabled. Finally, maybe a reason to use this. Every Minecraft player's worst nightmare is having a creeper sneak in or spawn in their base and having it blow up everything. But to make this a little less disastrous, you can waterlog your chests to make them blast resistant. Speaking of, if you're looking for a block to build your TNT-based farms out of, waterlogged leaves might be for you. They're totally blast resistant and super easy to get a hold of. Just be careful you don't accidentally flood your redstone. Ever see this mob? Because if you have, you're one of the lucky ones. This is called the Cluck Shroom. And yes, it drops mushrooms. This mob was released exclusively for Minecraft Earth. And with a 2% chance of naturally spawning, you don't want to lose this guy. Mushy? Mushy, why? If you're in Minecraft Bedrock Edition and you catch on fire, don't panic! Just craft a campfire, and you can light it for completely free just from standing on it. Oh man, what a good trade-off. Now that's what I call making the best out of a bad situation. In the early versions of Minecraft InDev, you could stack up to 99 items in Minecraft. This was later changed by Notch to the iconic 64 items you can hold today. Hey, you do you, bro. Everyone knows if you hit a zombie piglin in a swarm, it's not gonna be a fun time for you. However, if you manage to one-shot that same zombie piglin with an overpowered weapon, all of the piglins will get confused and stop targeting you, allowing you to finish them off one by one. Hey, it's fine, they're zombies, so die piglins. Chests usually can't be opened when they've got a block above them, so explain how this works. It's actually just a stair placed backwards. This also works with any other block that's not just as big as a normal block, such as farmland or path blocks, and leaves you a bunch of new opportunities to hide away your goodies. Skeletons can usually see you from about this far. It's around 16 blocks, which, to be fair, is pretty good for a life form with bones for eyeballs. But if you chuck on a mob head like a zombie or skeleton skull, this distance gets much smaller and allows you to get as close as 8 blocks away without them seeing you. The only problem is that now I can't see anything. Speaking of skeletons, there's actually a super clever way to get music discs that I bet you didn't know. The arrows will turn to fireballs when shot through lava, and can even light TNT. This means you can collect a bunch of creepers in a pit and blow them all up with a skeleton like this, and end up with dozens of music discs almost instantly. Hitting a mob with a channeling trident in a thunderstorm makes possibly the worst noise in the game. It's so loud! Luckily, this crazy lightning generator isn't quite as loud. You can make it with a piston, lightning rod, and channeling trident, and having a bunch of them allows you to do, well, not much really. But I guess you can trap your friend in a box like this and give them an electrifying experience. Did you know that you can actually totally skip the Ender Dragon fight? By building a simple flying machine like this, you can fly all the way to the outer islands without so much as touching the Ender Dragon, allowing you to raid as many end cities as you want for all the loot you could ever dream of. However, the only way out is, down there. So do this at your own risk, I guess. Snow golems will die almost instantly underwater, while iron golems will sink but just kinda chill. This is already strange enough, but it gets even weirder when you realize you can actually spawn snow golems underwater, but not iron golems. But while we're down here, here's another cool underwater fact that might even save your life. Next time you find yourself stranded outside at night, swarmed by mobs and unable to sleep, try heading into a river or ocean. You'll be able to chuck a bed down and sleep just fine. You can even breathe down here for some reason. Everyone knows that the Wither is immune to arrows in its second phase, but I bet you didn't know that fireworks will still damage it, letting you sit back and relax as you watch the show. Oh crap, wait, it can still hit me! Baby foxes might be the cutest mob in the entire game, which is why I'm sorry that I have to show you this next Next fact. In some older versions, they're actually so adorable and tiny that if they find themselves in water, their mouth is actually underwater and they'll end up drowning. Poor thing. If you're ever being chased by a mugger and quickly want to hide your diamonds, just throw them in grass paths. If you place hoppers under the grass covering, the diamonds will automatically transport into them, making your escape smooth, calculated, and absolutely foolproof. And he's found the hoppers, hasn't he? Oh, come on! Here's a useless fact you didn't know. Wearing a creeper mask reduces the chance of a creeper spotting you by 50%. But don't get too cocky, as they still explode! In Snapshot 15W31A, Mojang pretty much added one of the dumbest things possible. Usually, to respawn the Ender Dragon, you need Ender Crystals. Pretty hard to obtain. That makes sense, right? Well, for this snapshot, you literally could build a clay creeper face, and the dragon would respawn. Yeah, I'm not even joking. I'm baffled, bamboozled. If an iron golem is low on health, you can heal them by tapping on them with an iron ingot. Don't confuse this with hitting them with an iron ingot, as that will certainly end up killing them, and we don't want that. If you've ever tried building a railroad before, you would have definitely come across a train turn that looks something like this. Well, if you take a look at the corner of the train track, it actually looks very similar to an iron pickaxe. Bet you didn't know that! When a player crafts their first enchantment table and enchants their first weapon, assuming you pick the lowest enchant level on a bow and arrow, the first enchant will always be power 1.
What a useless fact! I don't want power 1! Ass 1.
The Sniffer is another new mod that's been added, and oh my god, what is it? Seriously, like, what is that? I've got no idea. It can only be spawned in with eggs obtained from archaeology and just, like, sniffs, I guess? What a surprise! At least it looks cute, though, even though all it can do is find these torch flower seeds. Wouldn't it be cool if, instead of just seeds, it could also discover other items, like diamonds? Or would that just be overpowered? In Bedrock Edition, though, you can actually put these absolute units in boats, and even flip them upside down with a dinner bone name tag. Ah, now I understand what they're for. Also, you can actually breed 2 sniffers together with the torch flowers they find to create a baby snifflet. Yes, the babies are called snifflets. Snifflets! Speaking of, the torch flower is actually the first flower we've ever had that is grown with seeds. Unfortunately, right now, all it can do is make orange dye and look pretty, which I think is a huge missed opportunity for another plant-based light source like the glowberries. It's literally called the torch flower, but also snifflets! Only other use for torch flowers is to make into suspicious stew, and will give you night vision for just a few seconds when you eat it. By the way, did you know that Mojang added suspicious stew as a way to teach people that the lily of the valley flower is poisonous? Cool idea, but this red mushroom you put in the stew is also super poisonous in real life, and I can eat it just fine. Might want to look at that one again, Mojang. The last item being added in the 1.20 update that we know of right now is the hanging sign. These can be made out of any type of stripped wood along with 2 chains. And, well, do I really have to explain what they do? They can be placed on the bottom or the side of a block and are perfect for adding that tiny bit of extra detail to a build. Or, you know, for signing things. The only bad thing about them is that there's a much lower character limit on them. But it's fine because I've got just enough room to tell you to subscribe!